What if I told you there was a secret messaging network so private, criminals around the world trusted it with their most dangerous plans? And what if I told you that the same system thought to be unbreakable was quietly being watched by law enforcement for months? Today, I'm sharing the real story of EncroChat, how a so-called privacy phone became one of the biggest breakthroughs in the fight against organized crime, and how it eventually fell. Let's begin. EncroChat was marketed as the ultimate privacy solution, a communication platform built around highly encrypted phones designed to make messages and calls unreadable to outsiders. These weren't normal phones. They were modified Android devices with a hidden operating system just for secure messaging, self-destructing texts, encrypted voice calls, and even the ability to wipe all data remotely. Because of this, the phones were expensive, costing thousands of euros, plus a subscription fee. To the privacy-minded, it sounded perfect. But there was a twist. Before long, EncroChat's reputation shifted. Instead of activists or journalists, the majority of users were people with something to hide, criminals using it to organize drug trafficking, money laundering, arms deals, and worse. And by 2020, tens of thousands of people across Europe were using EncroChat, many suspected of serious crimes. Law enforcement agencies in Europe had been watching EncroChat's rise with concern. They knew that if they could somehow see inside these encrypted conversations, they might finally have insights into criminal networks that had always stayed one step ahead. So a major operation began, one that would involve cooperation between police forces from multiple countries. It wasn't a short mission. What followed was months of silent surveillance, analysis, and a breakthrough that would change everything. French cyber investigators managed something incredible. They accessed EncroChat's central servers, not by brute force but by finding a way inside the system itself. This gave them a real-time window into millions of messages being exchanged by users who thought their communications were invisible to the outside world. For several months in early 2020, authorities monitored these conversations without tipping off the users. What they discovered was staggering. Messages detailed large drug shipments crossing borders, money being moved through secret channels, plans for violent acts and cartel coordination. Police weren't just watching isolated criminals, they were seeing the architecture of an entire underground network. And with this intelligence, they shared data with law enforcement teams across Europe. This became one of the most significant multinational investigations into organized crime in recent history. Then came the moment everyone had been waiting for. In June 2020, EncroChat detected something was wrong. Users began receiving warnings, messages telling them to discard their phones immediately. But by then, it was too late. On July 2, 2020, authorities across Europe went public. EncroChat had been infiltrated and dismantled. The operation triggered a massive crackdown. Take the United Kingdom, for example. Over 1,000 arrests, more than 2 tons of illegal drugs seized, millions of pounds in cash confiscated. Across Europe, similar results followed: weapons, drugs, cash, and evidence of criminal networks dismantled. All because law enforcement read the messages that users thought were untouchable. But it wasn't all straightforward. Even though the operation was hailed as a massive win for policing, it sparked serious debate. Lawyers and privacy advocates questioned whether it was even legal for authorities to hack into encrypted communications. Could all the evidence gathered through EncroChat really be used in court? Some said this kind of surveillance was a violation of privacy rights, even if the targets were criminals. Court battles followed in several countries. Some judges threw out evidence. Others upheld it because of the scale of criminal activity exposed. This became more than just a crime story. It sparked a debate about privacy versus security in the digital age. The EncroChat case stands as a turning point. It showed how encrypted communication tools can be exploited by criminal enterprises, how powerful, coordinated law enforcement efforts can disrupt those enterprises, and how technology and surveillance law are locked in a complex, ongoing battle. One thing is clear: encryption, once sold as an absolute privacy guarantee, doesn't protect anyone who uses it for evil forever. And for those who believed they were untouchable, EncroChat proved that there are no guaranteed safe spaces if criminals misuse technology. So when people talk about EncroChat, remember this. It wasn't just about a phone service. It wasn't just about criminals. It was about the limits of privacy, the reach of law enforcement, and the digital battleground that exists between them. For me, the EncroChat story is more than headlines. It's a reminder that technology can empower, and it can endanger, depending on who holds it. Thanks for watching. If you found this story interesting, hit like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you think about privacy versus security in the digital age.